Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity from Sahara Ventures to have this chance here. So basically, Africapital is a private equity and venture capital company. We tend to work with different partners. We're relatively new, so we started very early 2024, that's last year. And at first, when we started, we thought the journey for startups would be just easy because we had started with we're taking because our business model is really business, so we look at startups that are already generating something post revenue. We look at the numbers more. We were not really focused basically at first with impact and everything, but as time went by we realized there was such a huge gap in terms of investment readiness for startups. So when it came to startups, that was our biggest and main focus. So we go with startups from the journey of where are you right now? We have a KYC also very long, but we tend to say just answer at your capacity so that we know where you are, and then we can know where we strategically place you. It could be either you need just technical assistance first, you need to even develop maybe a pitch. So we work with you in that whole journey until now you're investment ready, and then we can put you in our pipeline of investors, and then now we can work on the investment side. We work from startups is our heart and everything, but we also work with large enterprises. Our main partners are, we have different main partners and collaborators like Tanzania Startup Association, Manufacture Africa, which are based on supporting these startups to become investment ready. So in a nutshell, I think that's where we are. And yes, we are very business oriented, although when you work with startups, you end up to tap into the impact part because every startup in Tanzania is literally doing something that's very impactful. So that's how we work with startups.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
2014 you started, right?
No, 2024, early January 2024. So that's just last year, but we have a pipeline of 100 startups right now that we are actively working with, and just two have been funded to now. But yeah, it's a journey because we realize there's a huge gap in, as I say, technical assistant, a startup just being ready for investment directly. So most of them would come with an idea. Most of them would come with a pitch deck, but numbers are not really aligning up. Most of them, and I think I saw a lot yesterday whereby I know we're still working with them. Back then you would ask, okay, this is great, you're doing all of this, but what are the numbers looking like? What are the projections? And somebody wouldn't even know what they are talking about. Founders are very passionate about their products. And then when you bring in the numbers, it's kind of a little bit difficult to challenge them. We have big goals, but yeah, we're starting one day at a time and one partner at a time.
Miss Caroline Kandusi, a program officer for Siegel Family Foundation.
It's such a pleasure to be here. Legend. Nashukuru. 10 years of impact is not a joke. Yeah, so Siegel Family Foundation, it's a private philanthropy based out of New Jersey. We have been in the space, and that is Africa, for over 20 years. And in all those 20 years, we have invested in Tanzania. So far, the cumulative amount that the foundation has invested across Africa is somewhere a little bit above 100 million US dollars for the 20 years. What do we do? Our vision is very simple. What we do is championing African visionaries. And we do that in three main ways. So the first one, like remember Triple C. So first and foremost is capital. So we do provide capital to African visionaries who are leading positive change in their community. And what we look out for is vision and commitment. And we take up the work to be oftentimes the very first institutional funder and first investor, and to support them to grow. The second C that we provide is capacity building, as we all know, and you have had the first two investors. It takes a lot for an organization to get to the level where VCs and banks can actually invest in an organization. So we do a lot of capacity building to the visionaries that we are working with across the region. And the third C is community. So we invest in community building by convening events and spaces which bring together doers and donors. As we all understand, if you are in the ecosystem or if you're fundraising, it is very rare to have opportunities where you are in a space and you have funders and visionaries together having conversation. And maybe a highlight for this year, we hosted a SIGO Connect event, which basically we brought together all our grantees in Tanzania, and we brought our funder friends from all over the world. And for the first time, we had a scenario where every one partner had two funders to speak to at any given time. And we do that intentionally because we believe that creative collaboration happens when communities are built and when people are having conversations and sitting together. Our ticket size is between 20 and 75. We provide a partner journey, which is from 3 years to 8 years, depending on the growth speed and how the partner is performing. In just a nutshell, we are like that person, you know, when you go and get your ring, your Tanzanite ring, like someone has to go and dig and then polish and process it, and then we see it in a beautiful jewelry shop. So Sigo Family Foundation is that partner who goes to do the mining and refining, and then we bring, like, you know, a lot more refined products to the ecosystem for investments.
So, I mean, what investment instruments that you very prefer?
So at different stages of organizations, and for us, we work with both social innovators. You know, we have a lot of issues where the solutions don't really have a price tag, so they'll never be businesses, but they'll be, like, you know, opportunities to improve or to address some of the social challenges. So we do both. A lot of, like, you know, social innovation where grant funding is really necessary. But also we have started a vehicle like 4 years ago where now we also do invest in high potential social enterprises, especially in agriculture and fintech, realizing that we have a lot of innovators with solutions which have potential for scale. So that initial work, before you know your KYC, and before you have built a team, and before the founder is comfortable, that is where we really try to drive money, because that's where not many people do invest in. So we de-risk majority of the innovators and social entrepreneurs in the ecosystem.
Thank you so much. Yes, who is coming? Miss Thomas from MTI Investment.
Yes. Sitting is better, I guess.
Is it MTI or MT?
MT.
MTI.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Yeah.
Karibu sana. Would
Asante.
love to know more about MTI. We have a number of startups that would love to know more about. Please, the stage is yours.
Yeah. Thank you so much. To all of you, my name's Mercy Thomas Ndunguru. I think I see so many familiar faces here. First, because I have been working with my brother here at Sahara, but also now currently I am the team lead for MTI Investment Tanzania, but also I'm the head of business support at MTI Group. So about MTI is a Nordic found investment firm that has been existing in the past 10 years. And our main focus was actually to work with SMEs that are generating around 10 million USD, or they are evaluated at 10 million USD. And now, why am I actually here today? It's because since 2024 to 2025, our strategic direction is moving from investing in the major SMEs to looking at the early stage companies. And so for that reason, we have invested more than 2.8 million to expose founders, to help them build their products, exposing them in different markets, including the Nordic markets, the Kenyan markets, and also to help them build their businesses. So what have we done so far on the investment side? So far in the past 10 years, we have invested in more than 20 companies. And now we have exited in 15. We have 5 remaining. And probably these are the famous ones that you must have heard about. So first we have Chanzi, if you've heard about Chanzi. It's a black soldier fly company that actually use the black soldier fly to generate fertilizer and alternative protein for animal feeds. And then they are actually our recent investment because we just provided them a 400,000 USD loan, I would say maybe 2 weeks ago. And then the next company is Mtaji Wetu, which is an invoice financing company. And in H1, we have already provided them a follow-on investment of 150 USD. And then our another company, so these companies are both in Dar es Salaam, but Chanzi exists in Nairobi, Mombasa, Arusha. And then another company that we have is AML. This is a microfinance, and it was our last year investment, or I would say it was a loan of 500,000 USD, and it's located here in Dar es Salaam. And then we have another company called Tanswed. That would be the fourth. They do rice sorting in Kahama. And another company that we do have, the last is Shambani Milk, which is located in Morogoro. It's a dairy milk company. With all that being said, these companies are very in their late or growth stage. And so for this year, our biggest focus is to work with you, every entrepreneur who's in this room, to make sure that we use the money that we have fundraised, the 2.8 million, to help you see the exposure of other countries and also connect with our network. So MT itself, since we are located in the Nordics, we're a public company in the mentioned in the NASDAQ stock of exchange, and we have more than 300 investors who are investing in specific companies and sectors. However, this year our biggest focus is blue economy and marine litter, or I would say most likely we're interested in the circular economy and blue economy, if that helps. Yeah, so after that, I don't know if you have any other question, because I feel like I've spoken a lot.
Thank you so much. Personally, I don't have a question, but the others, they may have. Hey, I have got startups here.
Yes. Good morning. My
Yes.
name is Gift Oneskime. You have said about 10 million USD. So why?
So I said that was initially what we focused on for the past years. Yes, but now we are focusing more on the very early stage where someone maybe is creating from 50,000 to 230 USD, and our funding also is based on the revenue. So most likely we'll call it revenue-based financing, but also we do our quasi-equity instrument, which includes equity financing and debt financing. Yes.
Thank you so much. Let's put hands together to Mercy Thomas. Oh, okay. Karibu Kusiluka.
My name is Kusiluka from Yakima. Previously, it's Madarasa. I wanted to ask about the ticket size, so you already answered. That's why I was sitting down. And since your focus is not into education, I'm not interested.
No, I would say we have a very good link with education, and that's why I was even part of the Mastercard Foundation by Sahara. We have been taking a look at companies that are doing circular economy. Kuna watu ambao they are renewing, let's say, computers, or they are circulating e-waste. There are people who do 3D printing, and you are also one of the people who I actually asked if you have a plan to do 3D printing. So those are the areas that we look at. Anything that revolves around circular economy is very interesting to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What I'm loving about this session, now the startup, they know I'm quitting. I'm not interested, because now you know the interest of an investor, so you can't be going to knock doors to investors. You need to know their interest, their ticket size and stuff like that. So without any further ado, for the benefits of time, I would like to call on stage Mr. Anthony Changwan. Let's put hands together.
Asante sana. Marhaba.
Lazima tufuate taratibu protocol.
Yeah.
Kila siku tunasema kwamba kijiji bila wazee ni fujo. Karibu sana.
Asante.
So
Good morning.
we have startups that would love to know about Intercapital. It might be the first time wanasikia kuhusu Intercapital. Tell us a bit about what you do.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here again. I started with Sahara when they basically started doing what they're doing. So I'm once again glad to see where they have actually been. Intercapital basically is an investment advisory firm. We started 20 years ago, so we've been in the market. We operate across Africa, most of the major regions of Africa. So when we started, basically we were looking into doing what the banks were not doing. So we started working with the corporates, countries that are within Africa. And at the time evolved, we are now focusing, our next strategy now is to focus into startup, not really in the early stage, but those that already have a little bit of attraction. What is putting us to look into this? As I mentioned, we operate across the region, and we see the startup fund raised, even those that we have raised, we probably put a lot of money into other countries that we have actually put at home. So we thought we should be looking inwards, and this is basically the reason that we are here. In the past 20 years, we've raised over $10 billion across the region to the governments, to the corporates, to the parastatals. And we invest across, our portfolio covers hospitality, covers mining, and mining services, being it explosives, be it other facilities. We're into entertainment. We're into security solutions. So our investment portfolio is quite diversified. What we are looking at now is basically to diversify that investment into startups, and basically seeing what can we do. Our model is very different, because if you hear everybody who's putting money into the startup, they're looking into their managerial skills, their scalabilities, and all this stuff that the startup would not have. We are transformers, and we've done a lot of transformation. So the way we come in is to allow a startup to leverage on what we already have. Is it governance? Is it HR? Is it funding? Is it systems? Is it clientele that we already have? So our model will be very, very different, not looking into the revenue per se, but looking into how can we transform these into revenue generating. And what is lacking? What is the missing gap? Because a lot of these startups are there, but the capital is missing, the leadership is missing, the governance is missing, the compliance issues are missing, the benchmarking and leveraging is missing, and this is where we come in. In terms of where we are looking at everything except education. We are also avoiding agro that is not tech. So anything agri-tech, we'll do it. Anything education, we won't. Health, no, unless it's anything tech to do with health. So that's the area. The size for us is not an issue. We can raise either internally or externally using our own balance sheet any amount. So the size for us really is not an issue. As long as we see value, we see scalability, and we actually see that the differentiation, because with the idea or the product should not come to compete, but it should be different. Thank you.
Wow. So the balance sheet is flexible enough for you to ask for funding. Yeah, you have said that, you care, but not that much on the commercial traction about the numbers. So what are the real factors that push you to invest to the startup or to the business? At least 3 or 2 things that make a decision, lead you to make a decision to invest.
Is the idea, is the solution you are bringing a solution to a problem. So if there is a solution to a problem, then we look at that scalability. It may not be able to generate money in the first, second year, but that's where now leveraging comes in, because all these other costs that would have impinged on the profitability, then you can leverage in what we already have. The human resources, all these resources that you would need, and will take away your profit. And we build from there.
Thank you. It's a time for the audience at the moment to respond. Should you have a question?
Okay, so from debt restructuring, I follow, but really not my business. But on the startup advisory side, we would love to talk to you about that.
Definitely, I'll catch up with you. In terms of, what are the next question? There was another question.
The core value, what you call
in terms of
value.
the core value, we really look at integrity. Any business that we do, it has to have that integrity. We look at the compliance issues as topmost. We look at impact, but not necessarily. We are very profit driven. Very profit driven.
Thank you so much. Without any further ado, I would like to call on stage Curtis Martin, a cash manager in business banking. Karibu sana.
Yes, and
Tell us a bit about your thesis of investment and the portfolio you have at the moment. Karibu sana.
asante. So I think I'll break it down into 2 sides. There's the side that is the banking side, where I'm at as NBC, but there's also the side of S-Ban where I also jump in on that side. And I think the real call to action on that is that on the banking side, I was seeing a lot of gaps in terms of when startups come and approach the bank. They don't really necessarily understand how to align whatever they're doing with the bank's bigger plan. So I think as we were going along within NBC, we come to a realization, and I think we signed an MOU with Tafina, and we're also doing some talks with Sahara as well. But we came to a realization that we need to empower them. So I think a few months ago, we also held a sort of a session where I think for anybody who's a fintech would understand, we brought in all the people who within the bank tend to be, we call them the showstoppers. So we brought in a cybersecurity team, we brought in our compliance team. So we basically put something similar to this where they had to tell them what they see when they deal with the regulator or with the policies of the bank, and then also try to sort of get them to ask questions. And I think it was a successful one where we got a lot of fintechs, and I see some of them here, to understand, okay, when I'm engaging a bank, this is what they're seeing, this is what compliance is seeing, this is what cybersecurity is seeing. So we're still working hard to sort of break those barriers, but I do believe that one step at a time, we'll get to a point where fintechs just freely come. So as the bank side, it's more of an enabler for scaling. So I think I'll stop at that with the side of the bank. But then I think towards last year, I was approached also by S-Ban. And S-Ban, we had a lot of discussions, and I sort of aired out some of the issues that I was seeing in terms of startups approaching the bank. So then we sort of had a synchronization where they said, you know all this, why don't you come to the other side as well and mentor them in terms of growth? So joined S-Ban through that. What S-Ban does, it's an angel investor network, And to begin with, I'll be honest, we're profit driven as well. We look at the business model. Similar things to what my peers have said. We look at the business model, how profitable it is, the potential of the business, the expertise of the person who's doing the startup. And in terms of the portfolio within SBAN, SBAN is just a network of angel investors. So you have people from different fields. You have me from banking. There's somebody else who's there who specializes in AI. There's somebody else who specializes in different doctorates. So the beauty about SBAN, we don't have a specific ticket size. So what we do is that we take the pitch deck and then we have a session with all the investors who are within the network. So we go through the pitch. There's some investors who might be interested. There's some who might not be interested. The ones who are interested mobilize themselves, or sometimes you have an instance where one investor decides, you know what, if all of you don't understand this and I understand this, I'm going to double into the investment. So our ticket sizes tend to vary based on that and the interest that is spread within the angels that are there. It's a wonderful thing. I think we were having a discussion the other day. ABAN is a broader network of angel investors within Africa. So sometimes even the pitch deck, we can even share it with a broader network. And if anybody outside is interested, you can also potentially get investors from the outside. On the side of the portfolio, what portfolio we're looking at, the one thing that we don't invest in overall, I think it's mutual with all the angel investors, is lifestyle sort of startups. Because we believe it's a very volatile market, because in terms of lifestyle or fashion, this is in fashion today, you wake up tomorrow, that's not the fashion, and if you've heavily invested in the startup, your money burns. And like I said, it's profit driven. But a plus note on SBAN as well is that once they invest in you, or we invest in you, you get access to the entire SBAN network. So for me, within SBAN, of course, I consult every now and then in terms of banking solutions, but of course, if you're approaching NBC, I won't consult you because conflict of interest. But apart from that, that's really SBAN as a whole, and I think we are always welcoming to any new ideas, concepts, and we're always straightforward. If we take it to the angels and nobody understands it, we might come back to you. No, we will come back to you, give you feedback. But on top of that, we can also share it with the broader ABAN network to see if there's anybody else out there within the ABAN network who is interested in investing. So I think, I hope I didn't cross 3 minutes.
Thank you so much.
Asante. I just wanted to ask about the ticket size for SBAN. What's your ticket size for startups? And if you have a specific sector of preference, at least you should have education, please.
So thank you for that. Within SBAN, as I said, it's a collective of different angel investors from different fields. So there's not usually a specific ticket size. It all depends on the interest of the network of angel investors that are inside. So sometimes you might come to a scenario, and it has happened, where one investor understands the business and has full trust in the founder and the business. So they invest as themselves. But there's sometimes where you find you have like 10 investors who are like, we understand this business. So you get all the 10 investors investing into the business. And in terms of education, as I said, for us, it's profit driven because, mind you, all the investors are people who specialize in their own different fields. They take, I think they take the time of the day to sort of understand what you're doing and invest in it. So it's the only sort of business that we don't look into is lifestyle. But apart from that, anything goes. I think we've also done collaboration with my colleague here, Mercy, where we were also looking into the startups that are in the blue economy. Of course, there's some talks happening with some investors within the network who might be interested and would be in the process of investing. So overall, no specific ticket size, but we don't invest in lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's put hands together to Mr.